So I just want to talk more about veganism. I just want to talk about more about specifically, you know, what matters to me. I feel like people, generally, everyone should have a moral obligation to be vegan. If you care about people, you know, harming innocent beings, I feel like, you know, you should care about people, you know, just so you can have a sandwich, just for our gluttony, our greed. I think it's quite incomprehensible, really, what we do to animals. 150 billion a year, like that, and no one really blinks an eye. People who have been oppressed should understand oppression more. And that's a simple way of looking at it. People who have been oppressed in the past, even women, you know, it's not just the obvious ones. Women, a lot of people, even me, you know, I'm half Indian. I mean, I'm not even just excluding myself. My ancestors came over here, you know, at least from one side of my family, they came over here from India. They were looking for a better life, and even then they were struggling. So I'm not even excluding myself, including me. I know I'm white skinned, but I am half Indian. I'm lucky. You know, yeah, I've got very dark hair, I suppose, so that kind of comes across a little bit. But I think, yeah, what I'm trying to say is people who have sort of experienced that should be able to understand it and maybe show more compassion and empathy to other people who are experiencing that. So obviously, you know, people who are against the status quo, you know, people who are against the status quo of, you know, of lots of things that have happened in the past, you know, in America, slavery. I don't think it was in Britain, I'm not sure, but in slavery America, you know, people like, I think Frederick Douglass, I think, was one of them. I'm not sure what the exact name is, but I think they were trying to, you know, abolish what was happening to black people, abolish slavery, which was, of course, and they ended up doing it. I think the 1800s. I think they abolished it 1835. I'm not quite sure what the date was now. They abolished it, and they were saying, you know, white people couldn't keep black people as slaves, and that's fair enough. And like I said, that's sort of oppression, isn't it? Similar to what we're doing to animals. I mean, what's the difference really? There is no difference. And also in 1919, I think women were trying to obtain their right to vote. So just over 100 years ago now, actually, I think, yeah. Women were trying to attain their right, their equal say in society, which was fair enough, and men were supposedly saying, you know, women, they don't deserve the right to vote, only women, whatever. And women eventually gained it, and then obviously segregation was only recent. I'm not sure if it was in Britain though. I think all this is mainly in America. I think the vote might have been in Britain, but I think everything else was in America. I'm not sure, but I think slavery may have been in Britain, I'm not sure. But yeah, but certainly in segregation, that was definitely in America. People, you know, black people couldn't use certain taps and stuff. Black people could, you know, they couldn't use the bathroom in certain places. They had to queue up for the bus and stuff. They had to accept and start to see on the bus. You know, it's unbelievable when you think about it. But that same sort of excuse or kind of, you know, justification, absurd justification for doing those things, you know, to black people, doing those things to women, they can have their right to say, doing those things, even the Jews during World War II, these absurd justifications of religion, of ethnicity, of sexuality, even of LGBTQ, you know, against the status quo, because most people are straight, you know. I think, what was his name? I can't remember, there's a famous person who he wasn't straight. I can't remember what his name is now. But, yeah, and because a lot of these people, you know, they were against the status quo. You know, at their time period, they were against the status quo, and that's what I'm trying to say about veganism. It all ties in. It's, you know, it's against the status quo, and I feel like, once again, people. I'm not trying to single out any minority groups, which is, I've said this quite before, but people who have been oppressed should understand oppression. So people who have been oppressed in the past should understand what animals are going through, because animals are being discriminated against. Whether you like it or not, they are. We've just picked and choose. We dominate the animal kingdom. We just pick and choose. It's bad enough us dominating society with all the cars on the road, but then we have to make it worse and dominate the animals and pick and choose which ones live, which ones die, which ones procreate, which ones defecate, which ones get to have grass and feel grass on their feet, which ones don't, which ones, you know, it's just absurd. And I feel like we really need to figure out as a species where we've gone along and on the way, because as kids we used to love reading the animals in the books. I used to read loads of books on animals, and I used to make noises of the animals. So I think we've just got to look at ourselves and think, where did it go wrong along the way? And because I think to myself, why didn't my parents tell me this? If I saw how chickens were treated in a big warehouse and factory farms, killed at 40 days old, grown to abnormal sizes, all the animals, cows, pigs, sheep, ducks, geese, factory farm, I can't believe it. All the females are artificially inseminated and genetically modified, so all the males become useless. Bobby cars, piglets, chicks. They're all chucked away, they're all indispensable because they don't mean anything to the industry. I said money over life, which is the root of all that's wrong with the world anyway. And we see these animals as commodities, they're slaves basically, they're treated like slaves, they're not existing individually. We don't see them, they've got eyes, they've got brains, they've got hearts, they've got lungs, but we don't see the biological similarities in them in the sense the way we exploit them, and I think this needs to change. I think this is absurd, and I think this is so. It's just like we're pretending we're caveman still. This is ridiculous. We know right from wrong. And look at the society. It's absurd. It's absurd. So we need to change our ways, because I think I've changed now, and hopefully other people can change. And it's only a matter of time, because injustice can't live forever.